recorded, I assume. Okay, it's just beginning. Anyway, for the record, like thanks to everybody at Sindhi College, the management, the principal, and obviously the students as well. I know, like it's one of those times, like wherein like to be captivated on a screen with so many people around, like this is something that we all used to dream around, like many years ago, like, and this has probably become a reality, like, and obviously it becomes very imperative to touch upon the present hot topic of or the present situation of the pandemic before we deep dive into everything, which is brought in certain things which we believe like is one such incidence of this webinar to be collecting together, like, and collectively being able to address each other and speak to each other from wherever we are at our own comforts. Like, so that's a wonderful side of it. Of course, there has been the painful side of it, like, which we'll leave it for another day to be speaking more about it. Like, I know like today's topic and the subject that I was asked to speak about by Kanchana was, can you talk something about chartered accountants? Like, so in fact, it began to say that, no, can you talk something little motivational as well? Like, so my immediate reaction was that, like, it's not that I'm too old to say we belong to the old school of thought, like wherein we are more into this in-person individuals all across sitting, like, so that we could understand each other's the vibes, and then accordingly modulate. Like. But here's the situation, like, but probably we need to change to times. So obviously, so one of the most important aspect and imperative is this changing to times is very important. Like, before we deep dive into the very core subject of what as a chartered accountant could be and how it should be and all of them. Like, so I'm just trying to set this preamble so that we collectively like get engrossed into what is it that we're trying to discuss. I know like keeping youngsters captivated in this kind of an atmosphere itself is a big challenge, as teachers and teachers and the management would probably appreciate to know this better. And from the students' viewpoint, like I know, like I do not want this to be like one of those any on and on kind of a discussion, but for whatever reason, I as an individual like to be very participative and being something like indulging into discussing with each other. But given this kind of a restrictive environment, like if everybody were to start talking with onto the screen, like obviously like it could be very chaotic. And so I saw this prompt from Kanchana, wherein she said, like, if anybody wants to talk, you can raise your hands and she will unmute. So from the small little deviation of what Kanchana ma'am told, like, if for some reason, if you believe that you want to also, want to raise your hands in between, feel free, like I'm happy to do that as well. So even, again, like as you're eagerly waiting for me to be talking about as a chartered accountant and as the insights into the chartered accountant, like, let me give you a small little, what I thought, like, anecdote or whatever as an experience. Like, it so happened, like, we were on a very important meeting to a client's place. And then it was a very early morning flight. And generally it so happens in the airport, like as we walk down and we get out of the flight, like as we're moving to a client's place, we go to the restroom and then we try to, freshen ourselves up and then just make ourselves to be sure that we're looking pleasant for the meeting that we're going to get into the meeting as well. So it so happened, like one of my colleagues, like there was a large mirror in front of the mirror, like he started to, he wanted to see to that he was to look more pleasant. Like, so he started to comb his hair and set up his spectacle and wash his face. And he was looking into the mirror. Like, as he came out, he just got to know that side of the restroom was a mirror. The other side was opaque glass, transparent glass where people could see as well, this portion of it. Like, so I was just relating to this situation as well, wherein I'm trying to talk on the assumption and the belief that I'm doing something great about myself to see that making myself pleasant. Maybe there could be incidents, all of you could be like put in a static photo over there and walked away like to have your breakfast or early lunch as well, or to be nodding your heads or having a small little discussion among your friends. So that was on a lighter note, like, but I do know, like, because I also have kids like who do attend this kind of a online session, and how it could be like wherein you can morph certain things easily. So this is probably, I'm going to take it as a pleasant way to believe that, yes, you have the liberties to do that as well. Please feel free. So on that lighter note, like, let me begin as a chartered accountant. I mean, I think I've repeatedly used this word, like insights into a chartered accountant. So what I want to achieve is give you some small little brief about chartered accountant per se as a profession. I'm sure like you're all into that crossroads wherein like you're just about finishing your 12th and then walking into whatever you would believe that you would want to become as a professional. So on this pretext, like probably another one liner is that like all this time, like you were students, and I'm sure you had somebody to handhold you to say how you're supposed to learn. And going forward is something that you're going to learn on your own, which you would probably put into practice to make a living out of it as well. So it becomes all the more imperative that you're a little attentive and you make a choice as appropriate as you would believe that it is essential for you. So let's not begin to believe that chartered accountant is the only profession like that is something to be followed through or something as a profession that you need to take up, but maybe as a choice that's available. So on this context, I think like I need to appreciate the management that's in the college to have given this opportunity wherein you can get some insights into various professions. I'm assuming that probably you would also get an opportunity to talk to other professionals as well. So on this hindsight, like I also would like to tell you, like there was a small little survey done in Britain some time ago, and would you believe, like one of the most wealthiest professional was when they went around to identify who was a very good, wealthy, or a successful professional, they found out to be as it was a plumber. So this is to give you an insight to say that every profession, irrespective of whatever it is something that you could thrive on. So the success story about that was everybody believed that a plumber is something that is not really wanted in very quickly because of whatever that the way they used to keep themselves unkept like. But this particular professional of plumber, like he had a beautiful way of coming and servicing, and he went on to become so successful. He was one of the most wealthiest professional. Why I was sounding this is that making a choice of not only a good profession is important, like along with that, it is also important that like you work with a lot of passion, you enjoy yourself, like try to do or pick a profession that you believe that's going to be helpful for you, like, and it should be a way that as and when you get up in the morning and you are happen to start your day, it should be like, wow, I'm going to work, rather than that, oh my God, I'm going to work. So that is going to be the difference, like that you have as a choice to make. Probably some of the elders who are here, like including Kanchana or me, I'm repeatedly using the word Kanchana because she's the one you know in this entire screen, like, so that's all it is. But all of the elders who are here, we have already plunged ourselves into this, our respective profession. But of course, I'm assuming that all of us are, I'm liking my profession of whatever that I have done. And then the brief that Kanchana gave about was that I have already spent about 25 years into this. So it's been a great journey. Like, so with this small little briefing, let me deep dive into, as chartered accountant, walk you through like what it is all about, because quite many instances are there, like many people believe that it is a profession very difficult to crack, or somebody who believes these are people who only manipulate numbers, or some people who believe they are a bundle of rules, laws, and regulations. Like, there is something more and beyond that as well. So I will allow Kanchana, she has a presentation with herself. Probably I thought like we can roll that presentation and then along with that I can keep talking. Is that okay, Kanchana?
Yeah, yeah. Just a few seconds, I'll share the screen.
Yeah. As we wait for the screen to be coming up, like, I mean, honestly, like there is a way like we can have a very interactive, captivative discussion. Again, it's not necessarily, I mean, we need to have something on the screen as well. But then it's nice to have in a relaxed way to view what that somebody is trying to talk. For some reason, like I could see the way Balaji is sort of looking relaxed, like appreciate it, like to, no, cool, Balaji, we find like perfectly. Hold on. Yeah. So here's probably, yeah, you can just keep rolling the screens. Like I'm fine to. Do I have a control, or you will carry on to do it, Kanchana? Okay. So this is a small little brief. So there is an independent body, and it is a governing body. It's called as Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And this has been set up by the Act of Parliament. So this is to give you that comfort level to say that no, you are enrolling with an authority like which has been authorized by this sovereign country and which is recognized not only in this country, of course, in quite many countries outside the world. That is from a recognition, official recognition. But however, from the professional standpoint, like that quite many countries welcome chartered accountants wholeheartedly. And then, of course, as part of the studentship, like there, I mean, I've been given to understand that there are close to 1 million of students any given point of time pursuing this as a course, like, and we presently have something close to about 300,000 or 3 lakh as membership, or what we call as chartered accountants. Like anybody who qualifies into being a chartered accountant will become a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, who is being bestowed with certain privileges, and those privileges are typically he could certify some of the financials of any of the enterprises that they would want to. That is on one aspect. Like, and away from that is what that we're going to look into the subsequent slides that we have. Yeah, so if you were to think like as a career as a chartered accountant, these are certain things that are listed in the box, like that you could think to become a good accounting professional. Or assurance is nothing but an audit that we use the word as assurance. That is to give as an assurance to any third party to say that this has been verified by a professional. And obviously taxation is a very important aspect, like which I'm sure most of you, like being in the 12th standard, would have got exposed to. And there is a big difference when it comes to finance and accounting. Like some people could probably mistake it to be as both together, like not necessarily. Bookkeeping is mostly on the accounting side, and finance is on from a larger spectrum, like how you could probably be as a competent individual to be taking care of any business enterprise or even a high net worth individual's well-being of their finance health as well. Like, and you also have certain, I wouldn't call this as new areas, but not well known as a chartered accountant who could be of as a career path that if you want to move upwards. And one is the business advisory services. And there is on the business advisory services, we have of late been noticing that chartered accountants are used extensively for any business house or business enterprise to understand how they're progressing and what is it that they should be doing to perform any better. Like all this would probably come under the advisory services and business intelligence. This is another very interesting and a good topic to be in. So it's all about dealing with numbers. Like there is one aspect, like anything of the past, like you can probably have a look at it, like then interpreting it to see that how the future could look based on the past is all about the business intelligence. And no better way than chartered accountants, who are the best, I would say, in number game, like can easily understand this and then portray this. There are certain very interesting tools available in the um, present scenarios, like wherein you could use all these tools and interpret a business environment, like so as to make the business holders understand what all this is incidentally provided by chartered accountant. Why I'm trying to touch upon all of this is that as a beginner, I did tell about it some time ago to say that no, it should be something. I know, like especially the present generation is all about wanting to understand and wanting to enjoy. Like so, the minute you get to know this could be interesting areas that you could indulge in, probably that could enhance your personal gain as well. Like. And of course, on the investment advisory, like, as you would know, today's environment is all about like, somebody would want to know where that they would need to utilize all that their accumulation of whatever that you would want to say, like funds around, or it could be the wealth around, or it could be the accumulation of everything as a reserve that they would have. Like, so investment advisories could probably come from the chartered accountant. This is another area like which is very interesting, and probably for individuals of interest could look to pursue this as a good option for them to take forward. So here is something from whatever that you would probably have got to know as a chartered accountant as to what his competencies are and where all he could indulge into what he could probably do. We can move on. So one, we talked about where all you could be like. So now here is one other aspect like to say, for some reason, if you happen to be a part of an organization as a chartered accountant, like what is it that your role could be like? Interestingly, if you look at it, each of the line item that's been fixed over here, like talks about it. Like one is you are definitely a significant part of the management. Generally, the functional controls as a CFO or what we call as the chief financial officer, like, or it could be anything on the role of the titles could be different, but this CFO as a title like is something which most of them would be aware, and that is what this has been included. Like, and like no organizations can have that kind of a comfort level unless they have a clear understanding about their numbers. Like, so again, it's a chartered accountant who plays a good role about it. Like, and then he could always be indulging into providing the advisory services, like, and then above all, like if there is a problem, like the solution to be provided towards a problem could be this, who could be heading this position as a CFO with the background as a chartered accountant. So now, don't you think like this could be a very interesting profession per se? Like, so this is something that is what I wanted to kindle in to say like, as a chartered accountant, there are very interesting touch points that could be useful, helpful as a career. And then all that, if this were something at the back of your mind to say, oh, mine, I would love to be as somebody who could give some knowledge to my organization or be part of the leadership team or be somebody who can give them the advices. Like, obviously, this is not some kind of a dream jobs that everybody would love to indulge in. And again, like, let me not take back of what I spoke about and what I gave that simple example as who was a very successful professional in UK in kind of a survey that was done. It's not necessarily, as I continue to say that, think of every profession as something that you would want to excel in. So today's discussion, incidentally, has been on the chartered accountants, like, but that doesn't mean like every other profession could be anything lesser. Like everybody has their equal importance. It's all about how you would indulge and then move around to gain yourself. Yeah, I just thought, let me talk something about myself as well, like, so that that's to give you that comfort level, like, oh God, yes, I'm listening to somebody like who's probably like rattling everything that could be of worthy for me to be attentive. So that's the reason is this slide and nothing more about it. Like this has already been spoken. So I began with like something to say as a PUC or a 12th standard student. That is what I was in as a crossroads as well, like as similar to what you are all in presently. So one is wishing you all the best. Like, so if you were to look at it, my career also began as what I am presently from the exact position as what you kids are all presently into. Like, so what I did was I went on to do a CA entrance. That is a similar examination of presently being offered. Like, and I pursued my BCom as well, parallel. And then what happens is under the CA curriculum and then the CA qualification process, you do not have a separate college. There is school that you need to attend to, but instead you are required to work under a chartered accountant, and that's known as an articleship. So this is probably the only course I presume, or one among the very few courses wherein you learn your job as your student as well. Like. So in my career as well, like, so along with once, immediately after my PU, I went on to clear my CA entrance, pursued my BCom, took up my articleship on the parallel, and thereafter qualified as a chartered accountant. And then is something like, probably we will talk in the subsequent slides as what other opportunities was available and why did I choose to be on my own. So that's something that would give you an insight. And fine, the right-hand side is a little bit about it. And this is more on the journey. So how we moved around. So this is something, again, I just want to showcase this to say that there could be interesting twists and turns and changes that you could adapt to. So here is something, if you were to look at it, like I began my career as part of providing the assurance services. Then we found there was a lot of need to provide managed accounting solution. So what do you mean by that is a complete outsourced solution? We asked the business houses, hey, gentlemen, why don't you concentrate on your business activity and leave the back end of everything to us? So they liked this idea, like, and that was the time like when a lot of outside India companies were looking upon India to harness their business opportunity. They started to come in here and we moved in and then we conquered quite a big, good clients about it. And we also found that there is a good need on the business intelligence as a solution to be provided. And what we did was we partnered with the BI tool and then we this is for those kind of kids who believe like, are we just going to be writing down in a piece of paper everything in the numbers? No, we also work on the technical side of it. Like you can be a technocrat as well, along with being a chartered accountant in numbers. And this is how it began our journey to provide business intelligence as a solution. And then this is one step. I'm sure like you would be wondering what this fund accounting is all about. Like I'm sure like you would know like here in the present journey, like there are quite many people, you would be talking about a lot of startups, even if you were to talk about any of the companies like your Facebooks, or if you were to talk about the big ones to the local small companies, the OYOs or whatever it is, they would all be backed up with funding with private equity firms. So that's a subject that you can dwell with separately. Like, but for them, for the organizations which spread their investments across this kind of startup businesses, like they need a specialized kind of an accounting solution. We went on to offer that as a solution. Like, so, and thereafter we moved into provide something known as an international accounting. So why not provide accounting to the outside India companies wherein we are sitting here from wherever you are? So that's another thing as an opportunity that is available is what is being showcased here and nothing more. Like, and then we said, why not we come out with our own tool? So, you know, the present age and the present need is all about the digital business that's happening in a big way. You could probably have something like a Swiggy or a Zomato, wherein there's so much of transaction happening live, and accounting all of them could be a real big challenge. Like away from that accounting, like there is a need for them. There is millions of transaction happening, say in a month, and somebody to reconcile them like manually was becoming too difficult a task. We created a tool, and then we have an automated tool which does that as well. So now is what that I would like to brief is this, like here is something as a journey. Even your journey could be interesting as a chartered accountant, as long as you're open to yourself to believe how independently I could look at the needs of the modern world and keep changing to that. Like, so that's the crux that you will is an important aspect to it. And people who are open to this kind of adapting challenges, they would love to see that no, all this is available in this as a profession. So this is, I just would like to skip as quickly as possible. This is to give you an understanding that presently we at KPK, we work with some of the good big names, leading names around the globe. These are clients who are spread across anywhere, right from Australia to US to UK to India. Obviously, the Indian clients are also there. So you get an opportunity to be dealing with the worldwide business environment, like, and sitting from wherever you are, or probably you could indulge being across as well. So again, like everybody has their own interest factors that could be kicking into them to believe what is it that they would enjoy doing more. So here is something that could probably give us a small assurance for them to believe that, oh, wow, this is interesting. Like, it's not that I'm going to be sitting here and working for what that I believe could be only for the present environment, but it could be a worldwide environment as well. So I'm sure students, don't you think like these are all something that could be of great, what do you call, like, some motivator or motivating aspects like that could be helpful if you were to choose this as a profession. Yeah, there has been certain interesting things. Typically, like when somebody asks, like, no, I mean, obviously, if there is a civil engineer that if you were to work around, what kind of an environment that you would be working in? So it's like hard terrains. If somebody loves a hard terrain, he would believe that. Like, but similarly, like, as a chartered accountant, like you will mostly be working in an office environment, or it could be an office atmosphere. Of course, with the present internet and other facilities being available. Incidentally, our office has been shut down for the last 1.5 years under the pandemic, but all of us have been working from home, and we are close to about 100 plus team members, and all of us, we've been able to deliver everything for our clients all across the globe, sitting from wherever we are. And apart from this, like, what is it that you would be working with? You will be working with every stakeholder in kind of a business environment. So here is what my emphasis has always been as from a business environment, because everybody could relate their activity of numbers to be owned up or to be belonging only to businesses, not necessarily. It could also be an incidence there. You could be also be working with any kind of non-profit organizations who would still need something to do with or deal with their numbers, and you could be participating in that as well. Like, and away from that, every stakeholder that includes across the vendors, the customers, the workmen, the staff, the leadership team, shareholders, regulatory authorities, you name it, and you would be a party or part of having been associated with each of these stakeholders. So that's, again, I'm assuming is an interesting factor, because you would love to be an all-round hero, to be made visible across everybody. Like, I know I'm not very sure. Like, in fact, incidentally, as I was preparing this slide, I did share this slide with my son. He's also a chartered accountant, like, and he just qualified as a chartered accountant probably about 8 years ago. He was like another PU student of 5-6 years ago. So then he said, like, hey, gentlemen, you're trying to put too much of a rosy picture of everything. People shouldn't get carried away as well. Like, there is other aspects somebody should know, like, no, what it is. And then you need to probably, I've touched upon, see, I as an individual, I strongly believe we need to look very positive of everything that we do. Maybe I'm very passionate about everything, like, but it's always important that we give the other sides of it. Like, but anyway, these slides are all about talking to say that, no, it looks probably very pleasant, like, but the path, like, it's all depends on your vision and how you want to adapt yourself. Like. So as part of adaptability is what that you should be spending your time. Probably my next slide will talk about it. Okay, so as an option, you could probably, like, there could be an instance like you would want to be a king of your own kingdom. So you can set up as a separate practice or individual practice of your own self and start working for yourself. Or if you believe that you want to be a part of a larger enterprise, you could join somebody and work with those kind of a larger enterprise. So you have all these kind of options. So these are going to be a very important aspect for you, because I'm sure, like, there could be an incidence you have picked up a profession, but for some reason as a profession, you're not given this kind of comfort level for you down the line as you move across. It could be an impediment that you were not able to enjoy the path that you have taken. So this, I'm sure, like, is another certain insight that would give you like some comforts to say, oh, wow, if I want to, I could be on my own. Or if for some reason I believe I do not want to take the pains of being on my own, you could always think to be with some other larger organization. So that is what this is talking about. Like, and away from this, like, it's very important that, no, your creative use of the knowledge, like, and using of the technology is very important. Like, gentlemen, do not detach yourself from the technology, and do not also belong as chartered accountant. You are nothing closer to your technology. You are in fact like one of the biggest users of the technologies that are made available. And most probably, like, if you have any of your, a lot of software friends, most of their products that are coming out could be anything that you would be indulging to be using them as well. Yeah, these are all some of the rosy ones that I was talking about, like, to make you feel more comfortable. Maybe if my institute sees this, like, they would say kudos to me, like pitching to tell everybody, oh my God, have I converted everybody who was looking for other profession to be walking into as a chartered accountant? So I think this slide is one of them, like, so which talks about to say that, no, you could be part of the business leader, you could be member of the leadership team. Obviously, no, I mean, you can go on to become an organizational head as well. Like, there have been instances of present, if you were to know, one of that if you would all look at it, and if you were to get, like the Pepsi, the recent CEO was a chartered accountant or a finance head. Like. So it's endless is where you could reach to, or where you could go and conquer. Like, so endless are the limits. Probably you could land up to become to be on the top of the head of an organization if required as well. So such is large options available for you. Like, so I think, like, this is something I'm sure, like, again, could be motivating for you all to believe that, yes, could be a nice profession to be as. Oh yeah. This is now if somebody were to have had a question, I'm sure had it been an in-person interactive one, somebody would have got up and said like, okay, where do I fit in as a chartered accountant? Is there something as a business industry that I need to be focusing myself on? Let me put in one simple liner. Actually speaking, chartered accountants are agnostic of any type of a business. So it's that common thread that runs across every enterprise, whether it could be a business enterprise or a non-business enterprise. Like I'm talking about the non-profit organizations or anybody. Like there is a common thread that runs about, and that thread is all about the finance. Like, and so obviously you would fit in across anything as an industry, you name it. But obviously, like there could be certain nuance that you need to capture, and that is something very specific to those type of businesses, like the way that we spoke about when we talked about KPK's kind of inherent strengths, like the way that we built our practice around the fund accounting. Like similarly, like for some reason, if construction or automobile or healthcare or hospitality or even a software, you will definitely need a chartered account to be part of it. Like so, you could fit into anything as an organization, and it could be across any of the streams, either around the finance, the taxation, advisory, or the accounting as well. Okay, so we spoke about all the good things about what you would become if you were to become a chartered accountant. So here is something for you to how you could move the curve, how you could move along the curve. And if you look at it, the bottom one talks about there is a minimum qualification that's for 10 plus 2 or 12th, or where all you little kids are presently in. So it's probably the right time. You could choose to, and how do you choose? You can take up an entrance exam, and that's something conducted twice a year. And then alongside, like you can plan to do your 3 years of articleship. Like for this to happen, you need to clear at least one group of, they call it as inter exams, or it could, if you probably clear both, it's a bonus, I would say. And for some reason you want to take it in a little relaxed way, you can probably complete your graduation, and then post graduation you can take up as well, like directly indulge to take up your articleship. And as you're completing your 3rd years, and once you've completed this intermediate of 2 group of exams, you have another exam that's called as the final, or the CA final exams, and then you could you need to attempt that exam and then clear that out. And once you clear is what you become a member, and all that I spoke about, like once you membership is what like gives you the privileges to be put into society as a chartered accountant, and then go on to practice or indulge with any of the employment opportunities that you would want to. And one add-on feature is that the presently CA course is also considered as a postgraduate degree. And so this would give you an opportunity to pursue, if anybody is very academically oriented, you want to take up to pursue something in your PhD, or completing or concluding or conquering. So you could indulge in that as well. Yeah, so now the efforts. So we spoke about all the good things and what is the journey towards that, and then how do we achieve this at all? Okay, so now here's something. You have had the Pallavi madams and the Kanchana madams and others around who were handholding you, teaching you. You had a blackboard or a whiteboard, or you had this online screen everybody could do. Incidentally, and the CA, it's mostly a self-study. But having said that, you probably in our times, we didn't have any of this kind of private training institutions, but you do have now. There are quite many like who would, private institutions are there. Like, I don't know if you get an opportunity, I will ask Pranav, one of the, as I talked about, like he just qualified as a chartered accountant. If you want to share his experience and give you some insights, maybe we can include as part of your Q&A. And then you alternatively, you could, our institute like the ICAI that I talked about as the body, they have branches all across. In fact, they have a big branch in Bangalore. They also conduct coaching over there. We can do it. So this is one small little that I put downside is all about that. Exam levels are considered a bit difficult to crack, being comparable to the demanding needs of the profession. Gentlemen, this is not my sentence. Like, this is something that I put on the insistence, as I said, of the newly qualified chartered accountant, who said, don't give too much of rosy, and somebody should not be stumbling to believe like, oh my God, somebody spoke to me so nicely. It was as if like I could walk through. Like, having said that, no, I don't want you to walk away with any negative thoughts. And everything is conquerable. When you have 3 lakh chartered accountants around in the world, why not we have another 80 plus like of Sindhi college, if everybody were to choose to become one as well. Of course, what you would need is there's a lot of dedication and efforts. Spend some time. I know, like being young kids around, at least under the present to last 2 years, you never would have had an opportunity to move outside of your home environs. But having said that, like you would always be outside virtually as well. So you have to look at the last line item that I've said. The pass percentage is close to about 20%. So try to make an attempt to see that, no, you are into that first lot of that 1/5 of the students who have been able to qualify and move on. Otherwise, there is a necessity to make certain multiple attempts. Like I'm sure you do not want to waste your part of the career life being, especially at this kind of short of words, I would say engage, you would want to make optimum use of it. Like probably if you were to crack it the first time, nothing like it. Alternately, you do also have opportunities, but make a good attempt to see that, no, you qualify as early as possible. Yeah, so this is another interesting aspect, like for somebody who believes that it doesn't matter, like because we spoke about how to do, how to achieve, what to do, but is it very expensive? Do I have to spend a lot of time, a lot of money? You know, this is probably the only course like which will pay you money like, by way of stipend, and probably you can fund your own education. That's a very interesting aspect. I'm sure like there are quite many kids here in this group who would want or find this as interesting to say that like, no, oh, wow, as I'm studying, as I'm qualifying, as I'm work, I also get paid like. So that is the right side aspect of stipend. So as you're working, as I talked about, you'll be working as a chartered account, as an article under a chartered accountant. So they would, the institute regulated fees are these, but we have seen like at least the top 4 at times, or certain enterprises, in fact, land up paying even more than 100% of what's the quoted minimum rate. So here, so imagine like when you're into your 3rd year and you're earning close to about 25,000 rupees, that could be funding your entire study part. And this we're talking about monthly, and the left side is talking about all the fees that you would pay is wholesomely within your first year of whatever that you pay as your stipend, you can fund for your entire course as well. Okay, I mean, there is something that I just thought like, no, I mean, let's talk about certain aspects like as an individual, the satisfying aspects, the demanding aspects, and the generic aspect, expectation. Like obviously, like, I mean, be a good individual. These are something like that I'm sure like you are all have been handled by some of the most illustrious teachers of fraternity. I already see so many professors around as part of your what do you call teaching community, like who would have handled to say that, no, the basic integrity levels, and then to be maintained, that's very good, very essential as being a good human being. And then away from that, like, no, being that your integrity levels or intelligence, and above all, like I would rather say good communication skills are also very important. Like you should be able to articulate and bring out all the thoughts that you have in a well mannered way, so that the other side, to whom you will always be looked upon to give your views and thoughts, is able to receive all this amply. So that's all is from the expectation. Otherwise, yes, I mean, there could be certain irregular working hours. And obviously, everybody in every career path would say, like, silently be telling that, no, yes, there could be a lot of demanding people on top of you. Like, I'm sure there could be a lot of smiles, like even among your teacher fraternity within this, who would be saying or agreeing to this. So it's there in every profession, like, so no big deal about it. Like, otherwise you are remunerated well. You will have a lot of variation in the type of work that you would do. Above all, it's a very interesting and a fulfilling kind of a profession. Okay, so this is the creative part of it. Like somewhere certain slightly, I didn't want to make it look too drab. Like a chartered accountants are not somebody like who don't indulge in any light of little artistic thing. So that's what probably this slide is all about. Like, so if you were to talk about as a career quotient, yeah, it is very satisfying. Like what percentage was, about, 100%. Like, so I put this across is what is the one that details about it, because you have a choice. It's pretty rewarding. It's satisfying. You can be in a public private enterprise, or you can be on your own shelter. What else is a choice that you have? Everything that you want as a choice is available. It's all that you need to pick it up and then keep moving forward. Okay, I think 2 cent input, like probably we should change this to 2 paisa input. That's more appropriate to be locally, if using from our local lingua. So I would say like it's easy to enter, but fine. And you need to have that right mix of patience and passion. And every individual should opt for the profession more with the love for it. Like, so let this slides that I put here, like could be a small little inducer for you, like, but above all, like touch yourself to believe, to say that, am I walking into it? Like, so that should be visible. I'm sure you hear to your innocence. That could be pretty helpful as well. I do not know if I overshot my time or I'm well within it. So I thought we talked about as 45 minutes. It looks like I'm spot on. So I think like there is too much that I've spoken about. As I said, like I don't want to be a situation that I landed up in the airport that I spoke about. As we open the screen, hope all are there, whoever were beginning to stay at the start of my presentation. So that answer is going to come here. Before that, let's open up for a Q&A. I'm happy to do that as well. Wow, good to see like there are quite many screens around.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an inspirational talk to the students. I am pretty sure many of them will follow your route map. It was really amazing. On behalf of our college principal, Professor Pallavi ma'am, we really thank your guidance to the students in all prospects. Before I go ahead, I would like to call upon Pranav DK. Okay, he's a freshly qualified chartered accountant who has cleared all his exams the first attempt. Okay, Pranav, please, could you speak a few words?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So, yeah, to introduce myself, I'm Prasad's son. So, I'm also a chartered accountant, qualified 2 years back. So, I thought maybe it will be apt to just give you a brief info as to what the exact timelines could be. So, you just got to know from my dad as to what are the benefits of becoming a chartered accountant, what are the pros and how you can lead it. Now, I thought maybe I'll just give you some information as to how long the course might take. But here, this course is something, and the length of it will be defined by you. It depends on how you take it across. So, when I was in the year 2015, that's when I completed my second PU. And you can start your CA courses from once you complete your second PU. So took up my CPT in 2015 and I completed that. So once you complete your CPT, you can go take up your IPCC exams, which will be due after 9 months of yours clearing your CPT. And with that, so once you complete that, you can take up your articleship. So I completed my IPCC in the year 2016, and I took up my articleship with PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is one of the big four accounting firms. And again, you choosing your articleship depends on where do you want to take yourself as a career. If you and it's truly based on your interest and stuff, because there are many firms. Big fours are more the corporate side, and if you want to get into your practice and or start something of your own, you can always look into a mid-sized firms, which will give you better insights on how a smaller firms business and stuff. And then once I started my articleship, I then in the year 2019 I wrote my CA final exam, and I thank God I could clear that also in first attempt. And in May 2019, that's when I qualified as a chartered accountant. And now it's already 2 years since I qualified. So as a journey, took 4 years from me, and I did complete my BCom from St. Joseph's College of Commerce at the same time. So and that's what I'm saying. It's not a tough. It is a tough course, but you put in your dedication and hard work. There's high chances that you will definitely come out with flying colors. And trust me, once you come out, your life will be good. But that journey of that 4 years is okay. To be precise, it will be hell. So be prepared for that. That's it.
Thank you so much, Pranav, for briefing our students about your journey. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Now I would call upon our principal, Professor Pallavi ma'am, to deliver the vote of thanks. Before that, I request students, if you have any queries, kindly unmute and you can raise a question. I think they don't have any queries.
I would assume like probably I was spot on. I gave them everything that they would probably want, or I probably was completely over the head, like that nobody knew what I spoke like. So I'm going to take as a first instance. Thank you.
Right. Hare Krishna, everyone. Guess it's, yes, good afternoon, dear Sindhians, and I must extend my heartfelt gratitude to today's resource person, Krishna Prasad sir. It was amazing to hear you, and it was the energy that you have and the enthusiasm that with which you have created or done the PPT was super. And it was on spot, and I guess that's the reason why our students don't have doubts. And when everything is there in a capsule and whatever they have as a doubt is being addressed, they generally don't speak. I guess that's the real thing. And I must also convey our regards to Kanchana ma'am for roping in such a wonderful human being and to kickstart an academic year with accomplished personality like Prasad sir is something indeed that we are fortunate to have with us. And thank you so much for taking your time off. I know how busy chartered accountants are. And to get somebody as renowned as you are to be talking to our students is something great. And on behalf of Sindhi PU College Management, faculty, and all the wonderful students who have joined in today, I express my heartfelt gratitude to you, sir. And I must add on one thing here. When you were talking, you did mention a few things about your own journey. And I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been easier. And it was so wonderful to rope in your son, Pranav. And he too spoke about, he passing out PUC in year 2015 and then completing it with 5 years. I mean, it doesn't happen easily. It's easier said than done. But the smile says it all. When you slog, when you have the perseverance, and when you're determined to do something, and when there's no looking back. And I'm pretty sure that there would be a lot of takeaways from both of you when you're saying that please don't give up. And this is the right age. And using technology and everything coming to your platter, and people who are experts coming and telling you, look at us, walk the path that we have. I think our students are lucky to have been mentored by such wonderful faculty here and even outside. And anytime anybody who's logged in here has any kind of request coming up, particularly to chartered accountants, I'm sure we're going to come back to you for support and guidance.
Wonderful. Be assured of it. Very happy. Thanks for all the kind words and the good words. Like happy to have given an opportunity. Like very pleased with it. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much, sir. And just to add this up, we've just received the announcement from the state government, wherein they said that they're going to map up their first PU, results, and they're going to announce their second PU results in a little while from now. So that means that any test that we take should not be taken with ease. We should just not prepare for the final examination. Is a big lesson that pandemic has given us. Whatever test, be it has been announced with the school or college, or could be internal or could be external, exam is an exam. And when you're being mapped up for your knowledge, we better take it up seriously. Is a big lesson that we have to learn. And we have students from both first PUC and also second PUC who have logged in today. So do not take any of your classes, any of your assessments light. Things are not going to be the same. We are not going to follow the same route learning. We are not going to go up with the same stereotype pattern of 100 questions asked and pass mark being 35. Today, things are moving up to, 40 marks question each with 3 question papers for 10 standard, 10 SSLC students, and they're going to take up all these 3 papers on one go. So that's how things are going to be. And be prepared to take up these online entrances from now on. And you should not be told that life is important and career aspirations are all the more important. And I want each and everyone who's logged in today to make some sankalpa and take things positively and work hard, because there are a lot of good people around you who want to handhold you, who want to see you all come up with bright colors and fulfill your brighter aspirations. So see to it that you do not take it light and always work hard and be dedicated to your commitment, and always remember that we're there to see that your dreams are realized. With that note, I personally would like to thank once again resource person and Prasad sir and Pranav Ji who have joined in this afternoon and making it wonderful, a memorable one for each one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prasad sir and Pranav.
Thank you. So we're logging off. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am,
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Was a wonderful session, was on dot. And now that I have my PU students there, can I just see you all logged in? And I would request the ones who have just been promoted to PU to kindly log out. I would only like to continue the meeting with the passing out students or the passed out students, the graduated students, rather. I'll just be waiting for another 2 minutes. So let's ensure that we are only continuing the meeting with the graduated PU students. Okay, while we continue the meeting, thumbs up to the entire team. Successfully, we've completed the PU, and with all the doubts in mind, and a lot of inhibitions that we had about the way forward for our PU students and for ourselves, the clarity has finally come in on 4th uh, after a long wait. And I guess this is the decision that we were looking up to, and I welcome the decision. I'm my personal friend. I know any decision that comes will always have the pros and cons. There will be one segment of people who will always welcome it, and the other segment will always have problems with it. But considering the situation that we are all in and the uncertainties that we are facing, I guess the government has taken a good decision of trying to cancel the examination. And having said that, they have also given us an opportunity to go ahead and declare the outgoing students with grades. And how are the grades going to be assessed? Based on your first PUC examination. That's superb, because the first PU examination was district level. We always, as teachers, if you remember, we were saying that, if first PU exam is district level, why is it that, we are not trying to hold back students, or we are not able to tell them the importance of that? So now is the time when we understand why the government emphasizes on a system wherein they say that if examination is district level, if things go off track, you can always rely back and then depend on their decisions. Just to brief about how the entire system works for the students, you have been promoted to second PUC based on the examination that you wrote in first year. And if you remember, your question papers uh, came from the board. That was a district level paper. So every district conducts their examination, and we received our question papers from Bangalore District North. And after receiving it, you have all written and you have passed. And those marks have been entered in a register, and that register is being vouched, is being signed by the deputy director of the PU department, and then only and is being verified by the team of principals who are all gazetted officers, who are all principals in government aided colleges. All right, we have a team which will scrutinize as to what is the criteria of promoting a student, what is the criteria of calling somebody pass in first PUC. Only after um, satisfactory furnishing of the records, they will give us a permission to announce the results at the college. So that means each and every faculty who has actually evaluated your paper personally has entered your marks in that register, which has been signed and the document submitted at the department.